What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So today we're going to go over every single 2023 champion and we're going to be ranking them based on each class, and then we're also going to go for like the best out of all champions in 2023, go for like a top 10 or something. So starting from the science class, we got Cassie, Sandman, Silk, Photon, and Morbius. So this isn't going to be like specifically for Battlegrounds ranking, because if it was, Photon would be 100% first, but this is going to be like based on their damage and their utility that they offer for like everything in the game. So I would say the best one out of those five would probably be Silk. She has, really good slow. She can actually heal reverse if you get some SIGs. She's also immune to Dex. She has that really nice evade, where even if you try to get hit, she's going to save you, like no matter what the animation is, no matter if it's like Onslaught special 1 or something, which is really nice. And then I would say Cassie is the second one because she's really safe. Now, with how the AI is reacting to Cassie's gameplay sometimes, it's really annoying. And honestly, if that didn't happen, I think Cassie was going to be first. Because you can phase... It's basically like... You know how powerful Tiger is? It's kind of like a Tigra, that Cassie. And she also has that taunt, which reduces the damage by quite a bit. You have Power Stings, which is no one is immune to it, so there's always going to be damage. She also is re-triggering them, like Spider-Ham, but it's 100% chance to re-trigger all of them. Which is insane. You can like keep that consistent damage up, but with the AI how it's reacting, it's really annoying, where you just consume all your battery and have like no power sync to the opponent. So she's gonna be second, and then the third one is gonna be Photon. She's a decent utility, not the best, definitely not as good as Cassie and Silk. And then it's either Morbius or Sandman. So we haven't seen much gameplay of Morbius on Awakened, and if we would have seen more gameplay Awakened, this guy can do every single matchup because he applies ruptures and it counts as his bleed abilities. So I would say Morbius is probably slightly better than Sandman, even though Sandman has probably more utility, but Morbius has more damage because you can also go for the SP3 rotation and not consume your bleeds or ruptures. So I would definitely say Morbius is better than Sandman, but also Sandman, he can be really good for questing because of his triple immunities to bleed, poison, and shock. Now, moving on to the skill class. The first champion that's going to be the best is Kate Bishop. Obviously, the best skill champion we had in 2023 by far. She's a monster Necropolis, a monster Battlegrounds. She has so much utility with her arrows for anything you need. By far the best one. Now, the second one, it's either going to be Zemo or Moondragon. Like, I have used Moondragon quite a bit when I grinded her from the arena. She has a lot of damage. She also has some nice resistances to poison, degen, and bleed. When you get that, I think it's called Psionic Transcendence. Yeah, when you get Psionic Transcendence, you also get plus 50%. Potency. Reduce the potency by 50%, and then also she reduces it by 30% from her own. So you can get like 80% less damage from poison, bleed, degen, and power stings, which is really powerful. You have that nice evade counter where you can just keep it for however much you want if you just keep pausing your Psionic Transcendence. Good critical damage, really strong. She's not too powerful on defense though, that's the only problem with Moondragon. And then also Zemo, he was pretty popular this year because of Necropolis. So I think I'm going to give it to Zemo and say he's the second best because of Necropolis, and then Moondragon, and then Shield. We haven't seen much gameplay of Shield. She is really good in this meta with her bleeds and stuff like that, but I tried her a lot, and she's definitely not as strong as she seems like outside of this power shield meta. Like she has to have like max deep wounds, and she also, obviously the opponent has to not be bleed immune, otherwise you're gonna do nothing. You're also, I think you get like a small benefit of critical rating when the opponent is bleed immune, but it's not good enough. It's not good enough. So I think Shield is probably the worst skill in 2023. Now, moving on to the mutants. There's not too many mutants. Like Onslaught is 100% better than Danny. Onslaught is a beast, man. He's popping off in those Battleground metas lately. He's crazy on defense, on offense. He's just a monster. And I believe, he has a lot of HP. He has really decent utility. 100% better than Danny. Like, Danny has a nice passive slow, which lasts for a very long time. She has a very good damage output. And also she can like cheese Nick Furies. And she also is going to be doing this better when she gets the buff. So but definitely Onslaught better than Danny. Moving on to the tech class, we got 4 tech champions: Fam, Viv, Shocker, and Lady Deathstrike. Now I think you guys will agree that Ant-Man Future is probably the best one. He's pretty popular in Battlegrounds. He also has Really good utility, especially if he's high sig, where he can pretty much be bleed immune and incinerate immune. And he's really tanky, like the glancing, the damage cap. And like I said, really popular in defense and battlegrounds. And I like his playstyle where you can basically bait like maybe one special in like a battlegrounds fight. That's the only thing you have to do, like bait one special and then power drain from the SP1, power detonation, power drains as well, 50% of the max power. He has really decent utility, and his damage is pretty decent as well. Then I would say the second one would probably be either Lady Deathstrike or Viv. Now the problem with Viv is she needs the ranks. She's really impressive when she's got the ranks, because, you know, she's immune to, you know, poison or bleach. She's a robot. She also has that cool parry mechanic where you don't really take block damage, because I believe block proficiency, yeah, her block proficiency is so terrible. So I'm glad she doesn't have to take too many blocked hits with that phase when you parry. She has a really decent playstyle. You just pop a special 2 and then a special 1 is gonna just probably do it. But it depends on the rank. So I would say Lady Deathstrike is probably better because she's a much better defender than her. You know, the thing about Lady Deathstrike again is she needs the 6 stone, same as Viv. That's the problem with both of them. So I'd say Lady Deathstrike is a little bit better because she also is immune to both. Well, basically more or better than immune to both, because she actually can heal from poison and bleeds. And also her ruptures, no one is immune to it. Whereas with Viv, if the opponent is immune to incinerate, you're not going to deal damage with your SP1s. And much better defender, like I said. So I'd say Fam, Lady Deathstrike, Viv, and then Shocker. Shocker, we haven't seen too much gameplay as a 7-star. You know, he's pretty strong. He has good defensive values as well. He does not really need the SIG unless you really want to finish the fight super fast, like in Battlegrounds, where you basically have a free special 1, which consumes no power. But yeah, I'm not too sure. Shocker is really tough. I think he actually could be a top 3 instead of Viv. Like, they're about the same. They have about the same playstyle where you just do your rotation and you hope the opponent dies. Like, they're pretty much the same. Maybe I would put actually Shocker as a 3rd one and Viv as a 4th one, because with Shocker, he offers a little bit more utility and better defensive values. So I actually changed my mind right now. Fam is the best one, 2nd one, Lady Deathstrike, Shocker, and then Viv. But they are actually really close. Like, those 3 are definitely really close. Now for the Cosmic class. Yeah, the best one is either Vox or Adam Warlock. I would say it's Vox because he offers more utility, and Adam is really AI dependent. Whereas Vox, you pretty much build up your buffs, and you can also stack them, which is a very fun mechanic. Like that, you can stack the dexes. He can offer debuffs, so he can do buff fights, debuff fights. Really strong damage with that degen, especially if you have him like a little bit awakened, where you can pause, you know, your damaging your personal degens, which is really strong. And he's not really AI dependent. He's a little bit because you might want to bait specials and then they're not throwing it. But Adam Warlock is like the most AI dependent champion in the game. So I would say Vox is better. He has really good utility. Adam Warlock has a lot of damage. He can definitely surpass Vox for his damage if you get good AI. He's pretty decent. He's also super fun to play. But I'd still say Vox, Adam Warlock, Maestro, and then Gladiator. Now, hopefully next year Gladiator actually surpasses all 3 of them, because he is the champion that we chose. And I'm pretty sure they're going to buff him and make him a little bit crazy, hopefully. Now, for the Mystic class. Mystic class, it's kind of tough. But, you know I have to pick up Zorbrand as my first one. Like, what can this guy not do for real? Like, his immunities are just phenomenal. He takes no damage. He doesn't have a nullify, but he also reduces the duration of indestructible, immortality, unstoppable, and unblockable. He has that insane regen. He's a good defender. He's got crit resist. He is super tanky with his Uru form, where it gives him 9,000 physical resist and also immunity to bleed and shock effects. And then he also has massive energy resistance, which you can just switch whenever you want. And he's also immune to Incinerate, Cold Snap, and Frostbite effects. Like, this guy has it all. He's the best Mystic champion, not just in 2023. I think he's the best champion, the best Mystic champion out of every single Mystic champion. So by far the best. Then it's gotta be Kushala. Kushala has amazing utility. With her blessings, you can just heal up to 75% of the blocked hit that you took, which is amazing. She can block unblockable attacks with that spell as well. She has massive damage, especially in this backgrounds meta. You just nullify with a special one. Your incinerates are taking for 20,000 until the opponent dies. Because I actually did an ascended rank 5 Nick Fury with my rank 2 Kushala in 45 seconds, which, you know, it's it's pretty wild for an ascended Nick Fury. It's kind of crazy. So yeah, Kushala offers a lot of utility as well. That regen through the block is pretty strong. You can make the opponent aggressive as well, which helps with your third spell if you want to have it. And one of my favorite things about Kushala, same thing as like Sigil Scarlet Witch, is you can make use of the Mystic Dispersion Mastery even if the opponent doesn't have buffs. You know, with Sigil, you give them the buffs. And same thing with Kushala, you give them those incinerates. I think they're called dormant incinerates, I'm not too sure. And you just make use of that MD. And the coolest thing with Kushala's MD is that it triggers when the opponent gets the buff. So you instantly build up to a special 1 or special 2. So yeah, there's like 2 things you can do with Kushala. If the opponent is immune to incinerate, or if they're immune to nullify, you just go for your special 2s and get the soul barbs. Nothing, doesn't matter. And then if they're not, you can just go for incinerates and just take them down like that. And then I would say werewolf. Oh man, yeah, someone is probably going to disagree that a werewolf is the best because of this meta. And, you know, I wouldn't blame you, but like I said, this is not for specifically battlegrounds. This guy is a dual threat. He has decent damage on attack, even if the opponent doesn't have buffs. But if they have buffs, he's kind of wild. And then he has a lot of HP. He also can get that unsolvable, so you probably would need like a slow counter to him. So he could be tricky. And his special one can definitely clip you sometimes with the way he dashes. But yeah, in this meta, he's pretty wild. Like he's probably the best attacker by far as well. Him and Tiger, I'd say, are the best ones. But Werewolf, yeah, definitely third one. Decent utility, a lot of HP. I love his regen. My favorite thing about it is his regen. I remember I made a video about it. He can just, the thing is his regen is based off missing health. But you can make your how's it called? Your Curse of Lycanthropy lasts for pretty much forever if you're hitting the opponent. And let's say the regen triggers from 8%, it's gonna like start healing you for like maybe 1,000 per tick. Now, even if you get to 60% HP, you're still gonna be healing from 1,000 per tick because it's the same regen. And because it's starting from such low HP, it's healing you more. And even though you have higher HP at some point, you still heal about the same. So his regen is kind of wild. And then, you know, it's gotta be Kindred. You know, he's a really popular defender. He's pretty much like a Maestro where you always want to pop him on defense, but he's a lot better than Maestro on offense as well. You could use him actually for Maestro against him. But yeah, mostly pretty good defender. He has some decent immunities as well. Like, look at that. He's immune to poison, incinerate, heal, block, infuriate, and intimidate. Decent immunities. And then it's getting deathless for the last mystic. You know, she doesn't have much abilities. Like, the only thing she has is degen. The best thing about her is that, you know, with stat focus, if you got a 7-star, you can crit more, which is more degens. And also, no one is immune to degens, so she's always gonna work. Now, if I had to make a top 10 from every single champion, what would it be? So the first one, top 1, would be Absman. The second one would be Kate Bishop. The third one would be Kushala. The fourth one would be Silk. Fifth one would be Fam. Sixth one would be Cassie. 7 would be Onslaught. 8 would be Vox. 9 would be Photon. And then 10, it would either be Maestro because he's really crazy on defense, or Kindred. And then it could be Zemo. I probably would give it to Zemo just because it's his year with, you know, Necropolis in 2023. So that would be my top 10. Absman, Kate, Kushala, Silk, Fam, Cassie, Onslaught, Vox, Photon, Maestro. I think Absman just is like one of the best champions overall in the game. Just offers so much utility. Even if the opponent is crit resist, you just don't care. You get 20,000 crit rating with your heavy, with your specials. Kate Bishop just has so many arrows. She can ignore evades. She can ignore debuffs to her. Even if the opponent is immune to cold snap, you have, you know, your caltrop, so bleeds. And she's just pretty wild, man. She also has a tracking which bypasses the miss. Then Kushala, I think she offers a lot of utility, super tanky as well. Nice playstyle, and she's gonna work for every single matchup, even if the opponent is immune to nullify, or, you know, whatever immunities they have, like Incinerate. Silk, I would give it to Silk because she's a very, very strong champion with very good utility and very easy access to slow, where it can last indefinitely if you can get the opponent in the corner. She also has that evade, which is amazing. Then I would give it to Fam because he has some nice utility on offense, super tanky, super good on defense. Cassie, pretty much the same thing, super tanky. No one is immune to her power thing, so she's always gonna work. Then it's Onslaught, he's a beast, you know. Onslaught is such a good defender, pretty good attacker. He also is like probably the best counters to like champions that shrug off, like a Tuma, Korg. Like he works better if they shrug off, so you actually want them to shrug off. Then Vox has got his nice buffs, debuffs, Photon, a menace on defense, okay on attack, I would say. And then again, top 10 would be probably Zemo just because of Necropolis. But you could also give it to Maestro because he's just a monster in defense. But yeah, that is going to be my top 10 for every single 2023 champion. And we also rank them up based on their own classes. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you agree with my top 10. I will have it in the description below as well. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.